Hello guys, the DB Grinder here, back at it again with another video, and this time I have my first place regional deck profile. I decided to play Dragon Link for this event. I think the deck is fairly strong. I didn't want to play like Brave Token stuff because like bricks are whack. I don't enjoy bricks, I enjoy consistent decks. I mean, this deck is a little bit more consistent than other decks, but it doesn't have as much power as other decks do. I don't know if this is the deck I'll end up playing for the YCS or not. But you'll see this deck profile a day after the YCS ends. And yeah, let's just go ahead and hop right into it. So starting off, we have the most important cards of any deck. Going second cards. If your deck can't play a lot of these, then you should switch decks because these are the most important cards in the game. So I decided to play 3 Gamma, 3 Nib, 3 Droplet, 1 Ogre, and 1 Talon. So you may wonder why. Like, okay, 3 Gamma, fair enough. 3 Nib, fair enough. 3 Droplet, fair enough. But why 1/1 Grinder? So I feel like every deck needs at least 10 going second cards. If you're playing 40 cards and you have less than 10, I would suggest changing the deck somehow. I think 10 should be like the standard minimum, as that is the 80% mark, which makes your deck less luck and more math, which is how I think you're supposed to build a card game deck. So Talents doesn't work as a going second card against a lot of decks, which is why like this. So like there's 10 going second cards here if I was to play versus like a Phantom Knight deck or something. I guess this doesn't always work against them either. Just a lot of people are deciding to like play around Nib more often than to play around Droplets, which is probably also incorrect, but that's a discussion for a different day. And then Talons. You could probably cut Ogre and play like a Drone Lockbird if you wanted to. You don't really need the extra light. You would if you were playing like a different ratio. I think you need 10 lights in your deck besides White Dragon to always make Ruler. Make sure you're hitting a light monster. But that's it for my going second cards. You could also cut Gamma. Gamma's kind of awkward because it makes you play a driver, and I hate playing bricks. Chaos Space, I'm not going to explain that. Saferd, don't like the black metal. I think black metal is not nearly as good as Saferd is a lot of the time. I don't think it's like overly bad, but I don't know. I feel like I've like normal summoning a lot already, like with Tracer and everything. Rocket Synchron, Quick Launch, like those are just standard. I don't really need to explain too much. 3 Tracer. I see some people play 2, but like if you play 2, then like you have to like Romulus get the Tracer, and I don't want to Romulus get the Tracer. I'd rather Romulus get to my other cards, or just like skip Romulus altogether and just go for Seal. Like this card doesn't even feel bad to draw in multiples. It's like whatever if you draw multiples of it. White Dragon, card's insane. I don't have Black Dragon right next to it because I feel like they serve completely different things, as this card is like always live and Black Dragon is not always live turn 1. Nocto, I mean, come on, special summon, draw 1, level 7, Dark Body, like, come on, you gotta play 3 of this, in my opinion. These were the next, extender cards. We are playing 40 cards in this list. I was playing 39 before. The list was a little bit different. I don't think this deck needs to go over 40. I don't really get why people go over 40 with this deck. I feel like you can play, like, everything you want and enough of it. I get like it lowers the amount of bricks, like the odds of drawing bricks, but I feel like the games that like I'm doing good are the games where I'm drawing like my best cards. Like I'd rather draw my bricks a little bit more often to draw my best cards a little bit more often. Cause like Chaos Space is insane. Like that card is really good. Also this performed extremely well. I wish there was room for a third, but there really just isn't room for a third. Like, I had to like cut the Talons, and I don't think I really need another extender. I think the ratios on them makes a lot of sense. Honestly, maybe I could even cut in an extender. But it performed extremely well. 2 Rocket Synchron, and then Recharger for like the random rockets. These cards aren't really bricks because even if you draw them, they're an extender because of Striker Dragon. You kind of like need them in deck. Levy, Galactic Spiral, Underperformed a little bit, but that's just because I was getting like hand trapped a lot. Like I was getting double hand trapped, triple hand trapped, and then like it's just hard to get to this card if you get like triple hand trapped. But when it did get summoned, I would say it was pretty good. I think this is better than Destrudo. I also don't think Destrudo's that bad. I just don't play Destrudo or Snow. 2 abs, it's either you play 1 abs, 1 hibernation, or 2 abs, and abs is better to draw than hibernation, so it's kind of like, yeah, we're playing 2 of that. Ravine, engine requirement, Black Dragon, like, you need it. And then, I guess, like, you could count these. So, this is the brick, this is the pseudo brick, and this is also somewhat of, like, a pseudo brick. I don't count Ravine as that. But, yeah, like, I didn't really want to play the Gamma package that much. Everyone, I kind of just got, like, I don't want to say, like, peer pressure into it. Just, I didn't want to main deck Lancia at a regional, because, like, regionals are whack, bro. Regionals are hard for me, because I didn't want to build this deck for a regional. I was trying to, like, get practice for a YCS, so... yeah, I ended up having to change the main deck a little bit, but that's the deck. 40 cards, obviously. You know, hold on. Gotta love to see it. We'll go on to the side deck now, so that way some of the extra choices make a little bit more sense. 3 Super Poly. Also, I probably should have put that there. Ooh, the sauce. But 3 Super Poly to make Venom. This is just here because I think it's good versus multiple matchups. Also, based players aren't playing around this currently, so you can bring out Venom to get rid of the DPE and the Anaconda, which is nice. Once they start playing around it, this will be unusable against their deck, but as long as it's a surprise factor, it is okay. The second and third Ogre, 2 Lancia, 1 Twin. I know some of this doesn't really make sense. Like, why would you have, like, the second, third Ogre, 2 Lancia, 1 Twin? Why would you not have 3 Twin? Why would you not have 3 Lancia? And I understand these questions, but the side deck patterns just don't warrant it. Like, if I had 3 Lancia, I would be taking out a hand trap in the main deck to put in this, and I feel like I need stuff for other matchups rather than just, like, doing that. The one of Twin, you know, it goes in versus back row decks, it goes in versus Prank Kids. If I had 2 Twin, I would not even be putting the second in versus Prank Kid. Like, you really have to learn how to side deck properly. Like, you should know how you're gonna side deck against a matchup before you even, like, start the match. Unless if it's something whack, you know. If you play versus a whack deck, then fair enough. 2 Cosmic, more back row out, and then also you can side it in going first. It's actually really good over the weekend. Every time I drew it is extremely good. 1 Called By for going first. Another Talent. I guess I'll show this one off. Aether. So it's like, these are like the main going first cards. Aether. A lot of people don't know what this card does. It's a dragon. Dark. Level 6. The level 6 doesn't matter, but being a dragon, dark is nice. You can summon it off seals. When it's normal summoned or special summoned, you can target 1 monster on the field and banish it. So seal becomes 2 interruptions, or they have to like attack it and you just bounce and then seal summon abs like you usually would. Also lets you play through Droplet better, and the best part about this, just like the Super Poly, surprise factor. Another thing about Super Poly is, if like they see it 1 game, then game 3, you can go ahead and you can like pretend to side in and out an extra deck card if you want to. I was actually doing that a couple times, and it'd make people think that I had Super Poly, but I wouldn't even be siding in Super Poly. And then the last card, Scarlet, Time, Brrr. I did get to do it once over the weekend. Shout out to him. He was actually a cool guy, but you gotta do it. Like, your deck needs a way to burn. I think that's like almost a requirement for a tournament deck, which is why it always felt so bad to play Bird. But Bird, you just like make your opponent go first and then hope that you can like juice them with like assembled. Shout out to David for the token. I'm gonna do my shout outs at the end, by the way. But the token. And then Striker Dragon, Pisty, Seal. It's only 1 Seal. The second doesn't come up. It only comes up if you go into the grind game, and we don't go into the grind game. We either game our opponent or we lose. There's no in between. The deck can grind though. You don't even like need the second seal to really grind. Yeah, and then IP, Quad Boral, Rami Mami, Dark. This card's insane. It came up a lot, even though I rarely even use the effect of special summon back. Just it being like a generic, like an absolute generic link to. Like it just takes a dark, and your deck always has a dark. Where like IP takes a non-link, and your deck won't always have like a non-link. But I did use it. Ooh, camera focus. Ooh, trying to. Yeah, but came up. I like stole Celestial with it and made Vampire, but it didn't matter because I didn't mill Levy. I gave myself like 9 mill opportunities to see the Levy, and I didn't see it, so I ended up losing that game. Unicorn, Triple Burst. This card's mandatory. I wasn't playing this card for a little bit, but it's just absolutely mandatory. If you're playing this Dragon build, like, you're not playing Triple Burst, I would highly suggest considering playing a different deck because you don't know how to build this deck. Sword, Access Code. Like I said, we don't get to the grind game. We OTK. That's... You gotta have both the OTK cards. The Zombie Vampire. It's interesting. I feel like blind game 1, it's not always the best thing to do unless if they're playing like 60 cards, then like obviously this card's insane because you know they're on based, and like I don't care if my opponent's mill good. The only card I care about is Snow, and of course versus the base matchup I milled the Snow, but still won that game. But yeah, I think this card's worth it. I didn't play Cephalon. If I would have to cut Sword for it. I think Access Code is better in this deck than Sword, but I think Sword is also extremely good for other scenarios. And Lancea is super popular, which also like shuts down Access Code effect. And again, we just go for game. Like their follow up is too strong for like Seal, Savage, Hot Red to stop a lot of the time. For like a Phantom Knight deck, if they survive, you're not able to set up enough to beat them. You just have to go for game. Pepega Ruler, brrr, this card's crazy, this card's crazy. Oh my god, it feels so good to play this card in real life. This is my first time playing this card in real life. Oh, Savage, Hot Red, like standard. So I'm going to go over my matchups. I should actually, hold on. let me open the thing on my computer real quick. I probably should have done this before. But okay, so round 1, I played versus Mech Knight. It was actually Shannon Long. If you don't know, he's like the Mech Knight guy. It's pretty cool to play against him because he has smacked me on DB countless of times. So like beating him felt good. I beat him 2-0. Round 2, I played versus Phantom Knight and I won 2-1. I think I only won that though, to be honest. Like game 1, they had misplayed extremely bad. And because of that, I was able to activate my Nibiru effect and able to win the game. Round 3, I played versus Prank Brave Token. That was an extremely fast 2-0. Round 4, I played versus Baxt. I won 2-1. That's where I scarleted them in time. Round 5, I played versus Prank Brave Token. 1-2-1. You know, I don't know. Prank Kid's not bad. I definitely don't think it's bad, but yeah, I ended up beating both of them that I played. Round 6, I played versus 60 card Eldritch Cybers, like the one that we saw Paulo playing on the channel today. Well, I guess it's like a week and a day, from the day you're watching this. And then round 7, I ended up losing against the Mirror. Game 1, I went first. He Lancea'd me, and then he just had like, he had a pretty strong hand, so I wasn't able to win that. And then game 2, I had gone first, and I was able to win. I actually don't even remember what happened that game. Oh yeah, he ended up hand trapping me and dropletting me, and then I had really nothing left, and he goes normal summon Seyfried. It's his last card, and I go, okay. He goes and searches the white, summons it, and I'm like, cool. Seal, tribute for cost, summon Aether banish, and he goes, oh, I was not expecting that, GG, and I was like, yep. Then game 3, he set up Seal, Tidings, Cephalon, Droll, and my hand was extremely awkward in the draw. I had like, it's like Nocto, Levy, Black Dragon, I had the Chaos Space away, and then, yeah, Droll's really rough. And I had the, yeah, it was awkward. yeah, that was the tournament results. So I was 6-0 and then lost the last round, but because I was the only undefeated going into the last round, I won the regional, which I guess is pretty cool. I was really tired playing in it, so I was making a lot of misplays. So it was kind of the deck that was carrying me. And honestly, let's see. Can I get a test hand? Ooh, I didn't really get the pile shuffle or anything. That works. It's actually insane going second too. I just auto win going second. And then going first, you know, you open kind of good. Should I actually play this out? Sure. Normal summon. Oh, it's so whack doing this backwards. Normal summon Link. And then, bro, that's whack. I'm gonna go ahead and search. Also just gonna like put the whites to the side too. Banish, summon, Link. I don't like doing combos backwards. I guess I would go there and then effects. And also everyone like wants to see like combo guides for dragons, but there literally isn't one. Like half the combos is just get to Pepega and then go from there. Banish, summon, get rid of those. Now here you can go for Romulus, or you could go for Seal. If you go for Romulus, then you're gonna have to use Rocket Synchron to make the Seal, which is a little bit awkward. Everyone tells me I'm wrong for not going for Romulus turn 1, but like I don't know. I just play safe. If I play safe, I feel like I win. Like it becomes really hard for me to lose. Boot summon out, Tracer pop, and then go summon out the Recharger. Then get rid of these. Oh, I guess I gotta shuffle. How would you like to cut? You want to cut half, and then half, and then half, and then half? Okay, sounds good. Pepega ruler, let's go. It's always good. Oh, how's that not backwards? No, respect. I mean, it was kind of bad. Besides that, like I hit lights, but I needed darks there. Yeah, that was kind of awkward. I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of awkward. What's in my hand? Okay, so I have like Nib, Gamma. Nib Seal is enough to like beat most decks anyhow, especially when they don't know if you have it or not. So like right there off the Pepega ruler hit, you have to grab Levy quick. Don't like not okay in that scenario. You don't grab Levy quick. You think about it. You think for like 15 seconds if you're gonna grab Nib or Levy, but you already know you're gonna grab Levy. It's to make them think like, oh, they want to grab Nib. But you already have it, so it's like a way to mind game your opponent. And I think right here, honestly, like, you could quad in the Savage if you wanted to, but I'm not gonna do that. I was told if you quad turn 1, you don't do that. And I made fun of him and I said, if you quad turn 1, you've already won. So I think you just go for that, and then like you could summon Levy, but then like it's kind of awkward because you have to go banish like that, and that to summon Levy. It's like, is that even worth it? It's like, I guess you could go ahead and use like, if you decide to end up going for Levy, you could probably just like, you'd have this, and then probably just have to go ahead and banish like all of those, but that, no, it's just not worth it. And there's not like a quad play because we didn't hit any darks off that, but you still end on like hot red Nib with follow up, so we probably just OTK next turn. But yeah, that's the deck. I also did a playthrough hand for you guys. If you want to know like the side deck patterns, it'll probably change by the time this video gets posted, to be honest with you. But I'll go over some of the side deck patterns too. So let me just go ahead and get my deck ready for this. So actually, let me pull up my side deck patterns. You guys won't be able to see this. but this will just make it easier for me. I already know it, of course. So like going second against a lot of decks, going first against a lot of decks, game 2, you end up siding out your droplets and your gammas. I know it might be weird to see gamma get taken out, but to be honest, nobody plays into gamma on your turn. If they do, then they're probably not the greatest player anyways. I don't know, it depends. Like, do you want to play around the 33% chance that I auto win or not? I feel like most people just do play around it because they have a chance to win if they like draw you later or Lancia you later and just let you get like a free card or two. But if they like draw you and you use gamma, then they auto lose. So like these are like the most common 7 side out. Like you do this versus Phantom Knight, you do this versus DDD, you do this versus Dragons, you do this versus Prank Kids, you do this versus Baxt. And these are like some of the most popular decks. So like you'd side those out. And then obviously matchup dependent. These are like the 3 that you're always siding in going first against pretty much like every single matchup. And then you put like those in. Because you want to keep like the number of lights very solid. Like I said, you could like do that. And like if you have like a Cosmic, the number of lights should still work. I'm fairly certain. So you have 3 nib, 3 that. Yeah, the number of lights would still work if you were to do that. But against a lot of matchups, I just have like Ogres and Cosmic just because like it is just another light monster. Like you Chaos Space, get rid of it turn 1. Also, you don't have to like set it, pay 1,000 life points, which comes up when time's coming. And then going second against a lot of matchups, I'm just like doing like generic stuff that you can do so that way like you can kind of get like a grasp on like what you need to be siding on and stuff. So like going second. Go ahead, you set out like a Rocket Synchron, Galactic Spiral, and Abs. Those are like some of like the main ones. You can also take out a Talent. You can take out, I don't know if I'm missing over them or not, because like it's upside down. You can take out like these are some like generic stuff that you can take out going second. Not saying take this out against every matchup, but these 3, it's every matchup going second. You take these out. You don't need these. Unless you're playing versus like Eldritch or something, that's a little bit weird. Also, talking about the side deck, I probably should have went over this. You might find it weird that I'm playing 1 Twin, 2 Cosmic, no red reboot. I think like trap decks are scarier than meta. Because meta you're very prepared for, so it's the non-meta decks that actually end up like beating you in a tournament. If you're prepared like this, which is not something I would highly suggest, but my deck is built for a different kind of tournament. This is not built for regionals, by the way. The only thing that was like really like changed for regionals was like the main deck with the Lancia. But like yeah, if I was building my deck for more regionals, like there'd be red reboot, probably more twins or something. Just that way I can beat those more often. I don't know if I'm gonna keep speaking more. I probably will, but I want to do my shoutouts now so I don't forget them like I did last time. Shout out to Midwest Gaming. Midwest Gaming, my first shout out. Shout out to John for letting me literally borrow every single card in this deck except for the Aether. So like every other card you saw was his. Shout out to David for the token. I guess this was like one card that wasn't his. Shout out to all the people I tested with. Shout out to Trish. We were like hopping in a Discord call after like every single round at the regionals. I probably would have gotten way too bored and fell asleep if he wasn't there, to be honest. So shout out to him, and he was like helping me through the plays after the match because like I was so tired I just wasn't playing correct. Like I said, I was misplaying a lot throughout the tournament. It was just like the deck list that carried me. Yeah, pretty sure that's all my shout outs. Also, you know, shout out to like Dodger Wolf, shout out to maybe It's Destiny. Tested with them a decent amount too. Yeah. I want to say more. Also, please learn how to side deck before going to an event. So many people don't know how to like actually appropriately side deck, and just put some, like, you're not prepared for an event if you don't know how to side deck. Like, if you are playing, let's say I'm playing against, like, a very popular deck. I play against a mirror match, right? In game 2, I have to go, oh, these probably seem good deciding going second, like, just an example, and it's like, oh, but what should I side out? If I have to ask myself, like, what should I side out, and, like, generally think about it, I'm not prepared for the tournament. If I'm playing against a meta deck, I just know how to side deck against them. Like, I can do it with very little thought. You know, it can be a little bit different if time is coming. Some of the side deck patterns include Cosmic, but you don't want to be putting this card in if time is coming. None of the side deck patterns actually include putting this in, because I know what to side out. Well, I probably should also go what to side out. So for Scarlight and Venom, if you're only putting in Venom, then you can go ahead and you can take out either Sword, but Sword is kind of creamy, I ain't gonna lie. But like, this card's pretty good to take out. I was told you're not supposed to be taking this card out, but I feel like going second, you get put in a lot of scenarios where this card's just not coming up because they have like actual interruptions. So, still not exactly certain what I want to take out for like Venom. Pretty sure it's just this though. Because, like, I think you need, like, Sword and Access Code to, like, guarantee you can go for game. Because you're putting in Super Poly going second, you know? So, probably just take out Triple Burst. And then you have to put, like, Scarlight in and Venom. That, like, doesn't happen. But then you would have to take out these two. Which is unfortunate. Because, like, Sword is Sword. But if you're really that close to time to where going second, you think you need to put in that card to make sure that like you can get to your turn, and like when you get to your turn, like if you think you're only going to have a minute or two, you probably don't have enough time to go for game because your opponents are going to think every time you activate a card. So you just have to get the main phase and then you can like burn your opponent. So you just have to like set up like Savage effects and then go for like the burn effect and try to get them that way. Also, everyone always says like really scummy to like use time cards like Scarlight, but it's not. It's only scummy if you play scummy like it. So, I think these cards are, like, okay in the game. Obviously, they're a little bit flawed. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Should be until the end of turn, which actually wouldn't change how these cards are played. It would actually make these cards better, if anything. I think it should just be end of turn, so that way... Because, like, every event I've gone to, like, actual in real-life tournament, the judges get to a spot to where somebody goes, oh, I was already in battle phase when time was called, and like there's a huge argument over it. So I think it should just be like end of turn just to make everything easier. But that wouldn't like change how these cards are actually playing the game and just make them better. I think like don't slow play for these cards. Okay, that's the problem with these cards that people have is slow playing into these cards. That's when you're cheating. Don't intentionally slow play. I don't do that. I would highly suggest you don't do that, as you can get warnings for it. You can get banned for it. Don't do that. Then how like you're supposed to play these is like you go first game 1. The game takes 30 minutes, right? Let's say you win game 1, and the game takes 30 minutes, right? So now it's your opponent. They get to go first game 2, and remote duels, let's say it's just real life Yu-Gi-Oh! With 40 minutes, because remote duels has 50 minutes. And let's say game 2, your opponent is comboing off, and we're going with the 40 minutes here. Your opponent's comboing off, they make their board, it goes to you, you draw, there's 6 minutes left. You don't slow play, just saying that now, Konami don't ban me for giving like helpful advice. That's not cheating, because it's not slow playing. If you realize you can't break the board, and let's say, like, I don't know, let's just say, like, this is your hand. But, like, all these are just blanks. They're all just, like, wild hand traps that, for some reason, you didn't use turn 1. You just, like, set Rocket Synchron and pass. And now you're putting your opponent on end the game. So they have to, like, actually, like, out this and end the game. So, by the time they're done outing that, time has gone down even more. So now there's probably like 5 minutes on the clock, and then you go ahead and admit defeat. 5 minutes is plenty enough time for you and your opponent to side deck and get into the next game, and that's enough time for you to go first, get to your main phase, and then time will be called during your main phase because there's only 2 minutes, and this deck takes way longer than 2 minutes. So it's not like, again, it's not like you're slow playing to do any of this. You're not being like you're not being whacked to get to this. You're just playing the game. And then you go ahead, time gets called. You summon Savage equip. And then you end up summoning this. Well, you have to have like another monster if you end up doing it like that. But, yeah, it ends up working out if you do it like that, which is fine. I think people are like really mad when people play cards like this, but it's okay. Also, the one time I went for this over the weekend, I actually messed it up, which was kind of funny because my opponent fixed it for me. Because again, like I was extremely tired during this regionals, and I was playing extremely bad. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was playing extremely bad. So I set up Savage and used the effect, and they gammed it, and I was so happy because if they didn't, all I had was Rocket Synchron to summon this, and this has to destroy with less attack or equal to less, and this would have more. So I actually messed it up. But they gammaed my Savage, which put the Gamma on board, so then I was able to just summon this and go for game. So they actually like fixed my mistake, which made me extremely happy because otherwise that would have ended in a draw and I would have felt like an idiot. But it'd be like that. Shout out to him. He was actually pretty chill. He was trash talking me before the tournament in like the general chat, which was kind of funny. I was like, "Yo, I'll see you in the tournament, bro," and I played against him. It's funny. But yeah, I think that's it for the deck profile. It's like 32 minutes long, which is probably a little bit too long for the deck profile considering I didn't go into any of the ratios. I guess like the only ratios that really matters, like going second cards, you want to make sure that's like over 80. You want to make sure your starters, your extenders, those ratios make sense. This deck, the starters aren't really as good as like other decks because these are like really your real only starters. Like you have Quick Launch Tracer, which get you to Popega Ruler, which isn't bad, but that's like a faulty starter. These are your only starters in 40, which like technically means you don't have enough starters, but you don't need to see these cards to actually combo turn 1. And then the number of light monsters, why I was saying that matters and why you could actually end up cutting the Ogre for a draw knockbird if you'd like, is because if you go ahead, I'm not going to go into all the math behind this because there is a decent amount you can go over. So I don't count White Dragon because if you hit this off Popega Ruler, it's going to your hand, so it's not actually a light in graveyard. So just take that out there. And then you end up having like the 3 Nib, 3 Saferd, and then this. So if you count these, you have 1, 6, which is 7, 10, 11. And like I said, you only need 10 besides white. So you could cut this for a draw realistically. And like your deck, the math behind it would still make a lot of sense. Now my Popega Ruler has an even higher % chance of hitting a light monster because you gotta think you're getting to like usually when you have to like get to Popega Ruler, it's not like normal summon Tracer, quick launch summon Recharger. It's not like that. It's usually like you like Striker Dragon, boot summon Tracer summon Recharger, like worst case scenario is what I'm thinking with this. Because I want my deck to be good even in those worst case scenarios. And then you like Popega Ruler, and Popega Ruler goes ahead and mills, and that's when you want to have about 10 lights in the deck besides White Dragon, so that way it's always like over 80. Fairly certain it's 86% chance off the top of my head. I have the math written down somewhere, but I don't feel like grabbing it. And then I'm pretty sure with this list, it'll actually be even higher. Maybe this list is the 86% chance, and the other list is lower, but I think this is the list with higher chance, because you have to think it's not 40 cards in deck at that point. Because you would have drawn 5 for turn, you would have searched boot and summon Recharger, so it's 33 cards in deck with these, which is definitely over. Yeah, this is definitely the 86 without this, and then this is like closer to 90. But yeah, with all that being said, congrats to myself on the win. No biggie. Regionals, they're kind of hard because you play against a lot of rogue. I happen to not play against a lot of rogue, thank gosh. And yeah, the DB Grinder signing off. Peace. Have a nice day. Stay safe.